What's up, everybody? Ray Big Country coming to you with another product review, coming live from the pit. So, as everybody knows, several years ago I came out with a handle called the Country Crush handle, and then about 6 months ago I changed the design and I was calling it King Crush, and I had these big 3-inch grips on it. Didn't mass produce it. I decided I didn't want to get into that again. However, Combat ArmSports duplicated my handle. Now, I have never purchased a handle that somebody else has done duplicating my Country Crush. But I respect Combat ArmSports, and I bought the handle like I buy all my products so I can give an honest review. I'm not obligated to say I like it because I was giving it free. I paid $100 with shipping. I paid $119 for it. So I can tell you right off the bat, it was cheaper than my Country Crush handle overall. Notice some differences right off the bat. So let's start with the Country Crush. So here's the Country Crush handle. I want you guys to see the welds. See how there's no weld marks, nothing like that. This particular handle was made back in 2014. As you can see, everything still spins good. And I used a hex bolt. You'd have to unscrew these to change out your grips. Again, if you look right here, you can't see any welds at all, none. Hooked it up, and that's what you did with it. Sold the company to Zane Cope, but then I decided I wanted something a little more. So this is not as good as a weld, this is just a prototype. It would have been better if I decided to mass produce, but I basically just made this for me. So as you can see, the welds, I mean, it's strong. 3 connection points. Exact same dimensions as the original Country Crush. I was calling this the King Crush. I had 3-inch grips on it. But I changed them out for the purpose of what I'm doing. So here's the LockJaw. Oh, let me point out, a cotter pin system. Just pull the cotter pin, pull out the pin, change your grips. So here's the LockJaw. First thing I notice, wider. It's a much wider handle. Their pin system, you got this little button right here that pushes in and you pull it out through the other end. Their grips are 3D printed. Mine are a polymer urethane. And they have knurling on their grips. Same 3-hole setup as mine. And again, they kind of did this hex design at the end, where mine is just more of a teardrop. And again, LockJaw is much wider. Much wider than the Country Crush / King Crush. So we're going to put it up on the cable machines. I've got not a lot of weight. I got 50 pounds loaded up. We're going to try them out, see what the differences are. First thing I want to say is, out of all the duplicates, imitations that I've seen of my handle, this is the only one I've ever bought. But I've tried others that other people have bought, and I'd have to say thank you to Combat ArmSports for respecting my design, changing it a little bit to make it yours. I mean, they pretty much replicated the Country Crush down to a T. Short of making it a little wider and the pen system, this is a Country Crush handle. Very well made. I got to put it through its paces, but from the looks of it, it's going to hold up just fine. So let's get this thing hooked up. Let's get the King Crush hooked up, and we'll talk about the differences that I feel. Like I said, their grips are 2 inches. My grips are 1 3/4. I do have 2-inch grips. I just didn't want to take them off my handle and put them on this. So let's get everything hooked up, and we'll see how it feels, how it compares. So let's turn you guys around. So here we go. We're just going to hook each one up to the cables. All right, so as you can see, we have the carabiner hooked up to the bottom hole. This feels a lot different with the smaller grips, but basically we're working the lower part of the hand. Like I said, it's just lightweight. We've got 50 pounds on here. We might add more to really test it. Now we've got the LockJaw. So again, right off the bat, you can feel the difference in the width. The grips themselves don't feel as smooth, and that could be because they're 3D printed. I don't know if you can hear the squeaking. So back to the King Crush. Much smoother movement. Much smoother. No squeaking, no catching. Now, I'm not saying that that makes it bad, right? I'm just pointing out the differences. So I feel like, do you guys hear that? So there's like a clicking to it, right? Let's change out the positions. So now we've got it in the middle position. Again, smooth. No clicking, no catching, no noises. Get the LockJaw. Now, in this position, this feels a little smoother. I don't know if you guys heard that. Feels smoother, but there's still some clicking. Nice and smooth. Okay, let's go to the next position. So now we're working more of the top of the hand. Again, nice and smooth, no catching, no clicking. Kind of noisy. Now in this position, it's very smooth. little bit of clicking, but as you can tell, you're not hearing as much. Turn you guys around here. So, being the originator of the handle that they tried to duplicate, based off of other handles that I've used the Mazurenko version of the Country Crush. I thought it was absolute crap. There's been a couple of other companies that I've used that I don't feel measured up to the original. If I was going to do a 1 out of 10 on this, I would give this a solid 7.5 to 8. They did a great job in replicating the type of welds that I used. Great job on that. Again, although the changes are subtle, I like the fact that at least they made some changes to give it their own ownership, I guess you could say. I'm not sure if the difference in width makes a difference. I kind of like the Country Crush, the way it's made, how close it keeps you in and how tight it keeps you in, but this is good too. If I was to make any suggestions to Combat ArmSports, I would, if you were going to keep 3D printing, I would make the hole slightly bigger so the grips themselves didn't stick onto the pin. Or use a polyurethane type grip like I did. But I like it. I am going to make it part of my workout. And I'm going to put it through its paces and see how it lasts. It's slightly thinner than the Country Crush, but the welds overall are pretty solid welds, and I don't see this handle breaking or being not functional for a long time. The one thing that I prided myself with the Country Crush is anybody who bought my handle back in 2014 still has my handle, and it still functions great and still standing the test of time. So hopefully this will do the same thing. Again, out of everybody who has tried to replicate the Country Crush, I have to say Combat ArmSports has done the best job doing it. I wish them all the luck in selling these handles. Guys, I would recommend, if you've ever wanted a Country Crush, but you're finding that you can't get them anymore, then the next best thing is right here. You go to combatarmsports.com. Okay. LockJaw. They also came out with a single handle, so they came out with their version of my Raptor handle. That's the next handle I'm going to buy, and I'm going to do a comparison on that as well. I highly recommend this, guys. Again, as the creator of the Country Crush, I give 2 thumbs up on this handle. I feel that I've given a fair review of this handle. Today was the first time I've used it, and I wanted to purposely put it up against my handle so you guys could see how each one functioned. I will say my handle, I believe, performed a little better, smoother, quieter. But like I said, 7.5 to 8 on this handle. Great job, Combat ArmSports. I am honored that you liked my design enough to replicate it. It means a lot to me. A lot of people might get mad, but to me it's a compliment that somebody thought so much of my design that they felt it was good enough to replicate and sell. So guys, go to combatarmsports.com. Get yourself a LockJaw. You won't regret it. All it can do is make you stronger. So until next time, guys, remember the Puller's Pit podcast every week. We're actually going to have Billy Ortegas from Combat ArmSports and TAL, Texas Arm Wrestling League, on the show. Pre-recorded. We will be going live soon. Also, 98 American Southwest Arm Wrestling League is going to be launching a website within the next month where you'll be able to come on, buy your merch, like awesome shirts like this. You'll be able to support us, show your support. So we'll have the website launch pretty soon. Go to 98arms.com, support your favorite franchise, whether it be the American Southwest, Georgia, Tennessee, North Carolina, whatever franchise you want to support. We all have our merch at 98arms.com. Don't forget, in March, we've got Winter Blast, Ryan Grondin, 98% Arm Wrestling, the largest tournament in the United States, is coming up at the end of March. Guys, remember, man, we're all in this sport together. We're all trying to do our thing. And the only way we're going to grow, the only way we're going to push forward is supporting everyone. I don't care if it's the UAL, Arizona Entertainment, East versus West, whatever, even WSA. I know you guys have heard me talk a lot about the WSA, but you know what? Greg Sharp is doing his thing, and he's giving opportunities to people to win some pretty serious money. We all have to come together as a collective. You know, Sean Hancock has this league called the AUA, organization called the AUA, which is a standard. Billy Ortegas, Ryan Grondin, Mikey Olivia, they're all on the board. Bill Collins, the UAL, just brought the California rankings back. So let's get unified, guys. Can you imagine if we all stopped fighting, if we all stopped picking sides and we just arm wrestled, how fast and how much more this sport could grow? We can't grow without sponsorship. Sponsors don't want to sponsor a bunch of cackling old hens bickering and arguing all the time and fighting on social media. So guys, let's just remember that whenever you comment on something. I'm horrible at it. I'm a type of guy who says what's on my mind, and I speak before I think. So let's make 2026 the best year ever for arm wrestling. You've got Tim Tillamage, Arm Wrestling Entertainment. He's got a tournament coming up February 21st in Cave Creek, Arizona. Then June 6th, he's got the Arizona State Arm Wrestling Championships. Sean Hancock has the AUA Nationals in Las Vegas, March 14th. I can't give you too much, but I'm working on a big event, and it is going to be with Arm Gods. That's all I'm going to say. You've got Jody Williams' yearly event in honor of his son in June. Let's not forget Nathan McCallan, 98 New Mexico, Outlaws Arm Wrestling, July 18th. We got Bill Collins the last weekend of May up in Patterson, California, the Kenny Hughes Memorial. So guys, if you can make it to these events, make it, show up, put on a show. You know, let's win some cash, let's win some medals. I know Greg Sharp, WSA, has some events coming up, some big events to qualify for his finals. So guys, again, like I said, as always, peace, love, and hang loose. Take care till next time, guys. Have a great day.